Hi Algebra 1 students, this is Mr. Wilsey, and in this video we're going to be looking at the Graphing Lines lab that you're going to be working on the computer. So when you first open up the jar file, you'll see a screen that looks like this. Notice that you've got a couple different tabs up at the top, so you can play around with this a little bit. Now let's go up to Slope-Intercept. Now in this tab, you can control two different things. One of them is the y-intercept of a line. So you can notice how the y-intercept of the equation changes as you move the purple point. And then you can also change the slope of the line by changing the position of the light blue point. And then if you go up to point slope, notice now that when you move the position of the purple point, you can move it anywhere you want. So it's not just constrained to lie along the y-axis, but you can put it wherever you want to. And then you can also move around the light blue dot. Okay? So use this tab to kind of experiment around with point slope form. Now with point slope form, remember that in the equation there's already a minus sign right here and right here. Notice that the coordinates of this purple point are -3, +2, and the -3 goes here, +2 goes right here. And the slope is the number that multiplies x minus x1 in parentheses. Rise 3, run 5. Rise 3, run 5. Now what we're going to be doing during this class period is going through the line game. There's 6 different levels here, and they get progressively more difficult. So let's start with level 1. Now level 1 is pretty straightforward because we only have to change one thing at a time. In this case, our y-intercept is fixed at +3. We can't change the position of this point. But what we can change is the position of this point, and notice that the line changes with it. We want to graph the line that has this equation. The way to do that is to place this point such that the slope of the line is 1/4. So we rise 1, run 4 units. Check to make sure that this is correct, and it is. Alright, now at the end of a level, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. Now, I don't want you to move on to the next level until your score is at least 10 out of 12. All right, as soon as you get a 10, 11, or 12 score, then you can press New Game and move on to the next highest level. All right, let me show you an example of point slope form. So now we are given the graph of a line, and we want to create the equation of that line. So how in the world do we do that? Well, these little doodads down here, we can move them, and they will light up when we hit a point that is on the line. So -6, +3 is on this line. So that means that we can use this x-coordinate, -6, and this y-coordinate, +3, in our equation. Now all we have to do is identify another point on the line. So let's see. Here we go. -3, +1. Now between these 2 points, the rise is -2, the run is +3. So -2, +3. All right, I think that looks right. Let's check it. And it's right. All right, now let's graph an equation in point slope form. So first thing we need to do is identify a point that we know what is on the line. We do that by looking right here. So the x-coordinate of a point on the line is -4, and the y-coordinate is +1. Okay. Remember that when you're reading the x and the y coordinate off of point slope form, you have to change the sign of the number that you see there, because there's already a minus sign in point slope form. Right? There's already a minus sign. Alright, so one of the points on the line is -4, +1, and then we use the slope to find the position of this other point. So we're going to rise 5 units, run 2 units. Alright, let's check to see if this is right. It is. Bada bing. Alright, now I jumped ahead to level 5 because I wanted to show you a more difficult example. So now we have to graph the line given by this equation. So one of the points on the line is -4, +2. You see how I got that? The slope of the line is rise is -2, run +1. Do you see how I got that? Check it, and it's correct. Alright, let's look at one last example. Now we're at level 6, and we need to place these 3 points along the line given by this equation. How in the world do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to identify a point that we know is on the line. It looks like the x-coordinate is going to be positive 2, and the y-coordinate is going to be positive 3. So this point right here is definitely on the line that we're trying to build. Now we're going to use the slope to identify where to put these two other points. All right? So we're going to have to rise 5 units, run 2 units from the starting point. So rise 5 units, run 2 units. So this point is now on the line. Now in order to put this point on the line, we have to rise negative 5 units, and we have to run negative 2 units. All right, so now we're back on the line. Let's check to see if this is right. Bada bing, it is. All right, so that's it. Get started playing this game, and remember, fill out the Google form as you go along so that I can see how well you're doing at this stuff. And as soon as you get done with getting through all of these levels, I want you to go to the master calendar and you'll find your homework there.